Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
I'm excited for this one.
Me too. I think this is going to be a really good one.
Yeah.
So today we are going to be diving into a blog post called Confidence Unleashed, My Transformative, Empowering Journey Within by Joanne Gray. And as you might guess from the title, it's about confidence, but it's more than just like rah-rah,
Right.
you can do it. It's actually, well, she kind of breaks down her own personal journey with building confidence and then gives a lot of advice and actually even some strategies that are backed up by science, which I find really fascinating.
Yeah, and her story's so relatable. I mean, we all struggle with self-doubt at some point, right? It's kind of a universal experience.
Totally. And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. It's like we're getting a glimpse into someone's personal experience,
Right.
but then also getting these tools and tips that we can actually apply to our own lives.
Exactly. So to start off, Joanne kind of lays the foundation by talking about confidence and empowerment and how they're like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, like they work together, right?
Yeah, exactly. So she defines confidence as this unwavering belief in yourself. It's like that inner knowing that you have what it takes to succeed.
It's almost like that inner voice that's like, yeah, you got this.
Exactly. And then she links that to empowerment, which is that feeling of agency and control over your own life. Like you have the power to shape your own destiny.
So it's not just about feeling good about yourself. It's about actually taking action and making things happen.
Right on. And Joanne's own journey illustrates this perfectly. She talks about wanting to make a career change into freelance writing.
Which is big leap.
Huge leap, yeah. And she's super honest about all the fears that came up for her. Fear of failure, of course, self-doubt about her writing abilities, even imposter syndrome, like, who am I to think I can do this?
Oh, yeah. I think we've all been there at some point.
Totally. But here's the thing. She doesn't let those fears stop her.
So how does she overcome them?
Well, she has this pivotal moment at a writing workshop. She goes despite being super nervous and ends up getting really positive feedback.
Wow. So that external validation must have been huge.
It was. And it leads to her first publication. So it's like
Yeah.
this tangible proof that she can do it, which is so encouraging.
It's like that fear was trying to protect her, but it was also holding her back.
Exactly. And that's a key takeaway from her story. Overcoming self-doubt isn't about eliminating fear altogether. It's about choosing to move forward despite it.
That's so powerful because it means we don't have to wait until we're completely fearless to go after what we want.
Right. We can feel the fear and do it anyway.
And Joanne actually takes this a step further by talking about the importance of embracing vulnerability.
Yeah, which sounds kind of counterintuitive, right? Because we're often told to hide our weaknesses.
Like put on a brave face and pretend everything's fine.
Exactly. But Joanne flips that script and says that vulnerability is actually a strength.
I love that. How so?
Well, it's about acknowledging that we're not perfect, and that's okay. It's about letting go of the need to have it all together all the time.
It's like giving yourself permission to be human.
Yes. And when we do that, we silence that inner critic that's always telling us we're not good enough.
Yeah, that inner critic can be brutal sometimes.
It can be. So embracing vulnerability is about replacing that harsh inner critic with self-compassion.
It's like being your own best friend instead of your own worst enemy.
That's a great way to put it.
So how do we actually start to embrace vulnerability in a practical way?
That's where the actionable tips come in. And Joanne has a whole bunch of them.
Okay, relay them on me.
So one of the first things she suggests is journaling to challenge those negative thoughts.
Journaling. I'm all about that.
Me too. It's like having a direct line to your subconscious.
So how do we use it to combat self-doubt?
By actively reframing those negative thoughts into positive affirmations.
So instead of saying, I'm going to fail this presentation, you'd say,
I've prepared well, and I'll do my best.
oh, I see. It's about focusing on what you can control and shifting your mindset.
Exactly. And she also recommends developing personal confidence mantras, like short, powerful statements that you can repeat to yourself daily.
Like little pep talks for your soul.
Yeah, things like, I am capable, I am worthy, I am learning and growing.
I love that I'm going to write some of those.
Me too. They're so helpful.
Okay, so journaling mantras. What else has Joanne got for us?
Well, she talks about the importance of setting intentions for success.
Okay, so not just dreaming about your goals, but actually making a plan to achieve them.
Yes. She emphasizes being specific with your goals, setting deadlines, and even visualizing yourself achieving them.
Like creating a mental movie trailer for your own success story.
Exactly. It's about having a clear roadmap for your journey.
So you're not just wandering aimlessly. You have a direction and a purpose.
Right. And that clarity can be incredibly motivating.
I can see that. But even with a plan and a positive mindset, we still have to actually take action, and that often means stepping outside of our comfort zones.
You're telling me. And that's where a lot of people get stuck. But Joanne offers some great advice here, too. She suggests starting with small steps.
So like baby steps towards your bigger goals.
Exactly. Don't try to do everything at once. Overwhelm is the enemy of progress.
True. And she also talks about celebrating each victory no matter how small.
Yes, because those small wins add up and they build momentum.
It's like giving yourself little rewards along the way.
Right. And it keeps you motivated to keep going.
And then she mentions a science-backed technique called power posing. Have you heard of this?
Of course. It's fascinating. So studies have shown that standing in a powerful pose for just 2 minutes,
Like Wonder Woman style.
exactly, can actually increase your confidence levels.
So if you're feeling nervous before a big presentation, you just strike a pose.
It's like tricking your brain into feeling more confident and in control.
I love it. I'm definitely going to try that.
Me too. And last but not least, Joanne emphasizes the importance of a support system.
Yeah, you can't do it alone, right?
Definitely. She talks about the value of having mentors who've been there and can offer guidance, and surrounding yourself with positive, supportive people.
Like your own personal cheer squad.
Exactly. Their energy can be incredibly contagious.
It's like having a team of people rooting for you.
It makes a huge difference.
So we've got embracing vulnerability journaling mantras, setting intentions, taking small steps, celebrating victories, power posing, and building a support system.
That's a pretty solid toolkit for building confidence, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, Joanne's really given us a lot to think about and work with here. What about when things don't go as planned? What about those inevitable setbacks? How do we handle those?
That's where resilience comes in, and that's what we'll be diving into in the next part of our deep dive.
Stay tuned, folks, because we're just getting started. So resilience. Yeah, like how do we bounce back from those inevitable curveballs life throws at us?
Well, Joanne really emphasizes that resilience is not something you're just born with. It's a skill you can actually develop over time.
It's encouraging because I think sometimes it feels like some people are just naturally better at handling stress and setbacks than others.
Yeah, it's easy to fall into that trap of thinking it's a fixed trait. But the good news is it's something we can cultivate and strengthen, just like a muscle.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So where do we start? How do we build those resilience muscles?
One of the first things Joanne talks about is the importance of self-compassion, especially during those tough times.
Okay, so instead of beating ourselves up when we make a mistake,
We treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we'd offer a friend going through something similar.
that's a big shift for a lot of us, I think. We're often our own worst critics.
We are, but that inner critic isn't helping anyone. It's actually making it harder to bounce back.
So self-compassion is like silencing that inner critic and replacing it with a more supportive voice.
Exactly. And it's not about making excuses for our mistakes or letting ourselves off the hook. It's about acknowledging that we're human, we're going to mess up, and that's okay.
It's about giving ourselves permission to be imperfect.
Right. And then from that place of self-compassion, we can actually start to learn from those mistakes.
So it's not just about feeling better, it's about actually using those setbacks as opportunities for growth.
Exactly. Joanne emphasizes the importance of reframing setbacks as temporary detours instead of seeing them as roadblocks.
Okay, I like that visual.
Right.
It's like you're on a road trip and you hit a detour. You might be frustrated, but, you'll eventually get back on track.
Exactly. And that's the key with resilience. It's about knowing that those setbacks are not the end of the story. They're just part of the journey.
And it's about having the confidence to navigate those detours and find your way back to the main road.
And that's where a growth mindset comes in, which Joanne also talks about.
Right, that belief that we can learn and grow from our experiences.
Yeah. And it ties in beautifully with resilience because when you have a growth mindset, you're more likely to see those challenges as opportunities to learn and improve instead of seeing them as threats to your self-worth.
So it's about seeing your potential as something that can be developed rather than something that's fixed and unchangeable.
Exactly. And that shift in perspective can make a huge difference in how you handle those setbacks.
I can see that. But is there actually any science to back up this idea of resilience as a learnable skill?
There is actually quite a bit of research on resilience, and it consistently shows that it's not just some innate quality that some people have and others don't. It's something we can all develop with the right tools and strategies.
Okay, I'm all ears. What kind of tools and strategies are we talking about?
Well, one that's particularly powerful is gratitude. Even when things are tough, focusing on the positive aspects of your life can significantly boost your ability to cope.
So it's like finding those silver linings even when it feels like everything is going wrong.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be big things either. It could be as simple as appreciating a good cup of coffee, a sunny day, or support a friend.
So it's about shifting our focus from what's wrong to what's right.
And it really does make a difference. Research has shown that practicing gratitude can increase happiness levels, reduce stress, and even improve physical health.
Wow, I'm sold. Gratitude it is. What else does science tell us about building resilience?
Well, healthy habits play a bigger role than you might think. Getting enough sleep, exercising regularly, and doing activities that bring you joy are all essential for coping with stress and setbacks effectively.
It makes sense. When you're running on empty, you're going to have a harder time bouncing back.
Exactly. And it's not just about physical health either. Those activities that bring you joy, those are like fuel for your soul.
So it's about taking care of yourself holistically, mind, body, and spirit.
Exactly. And then finally, and this is so important, sometimes we need more than just self-care. Sometimes we need to reach out for support.
It's okay to ask for help.
It is. And Joanne really emphasizes that. She says that seeking support, whether it's from trusted friends, family, or professionals, is a sign of strength, not weakness.
It's about recognizing that we don't have to go through tough times alone.
Right. And there's something really powerful about sharing your struggles with someone who cares and who can offer a different perspective.
I think that's a really important message, especially in a culture that often prizes independence and self-reliance.
It is. It's okay to not have all the answers. It's okay to lean on others when you need to.
So we've got self-compassion, reframing setbacks, gratitude, healthy habits, and seeking support. That's quite a resilience toolkit.
It is. And when we combine those tools with a growth mindset, we're setting ourselves up to not just survive those challenges, but to actually thrive in the face of them.
I love that. But before we move on, I want to circle back to something Joanne mentioned earlier, celebrating small victories. Why is that so important?
Because when we're facing big challenges, it's easy to get bogged down by what's not working, by the distance to the finish line.
So those small victories are like little reminders that we're making progress.
Exactly. And they help shift our perspective from what we haven't accomplished to what we have.
So instead of focusing on everything that's wrong, we're taking a moment to acknowledge what's going right, no matter how small.
Right. And those small wins can be incredibly motivating. They give us that boost of energy we need to keep going.
It's like those little bursts of confidence that fuel our resilience.
Exactly. And they remind us that we're capable of more than we might think.
I like that. So it's not just about reaching the big goals, it's about celebrating every step along the way.
And you know what else? Those small victories are also a form of gratitude.
Oh, I see. By acknowledging those wins, we're essentially expressing gratitude for our own efforts and our ability to keep going.
Exactly. And that gratitude in turn fuels our resilience. It's like a positive feedback loop.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah.
Self-compassion, gratitude, growth mindset, resilience, they're all interconnected.
They are. And when we cultivate all of them, we create this incredible foundation for not just overcoming challenges, but for actually thriving in life.
So it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving.
Exactly. It's about embracing the whole journey with all its ups and downs and knowing that we have the tools and the strength to navigate whatever comes our way.
I love that perspective.
Yeah.
So to bring it back to Joanne's story, what are some of the other key insights that stand out to you?
Well, one of the biggest ones for me is that confidence isn't about being fearless. It's about acknowledging our fears and choosing to move forward anyway.
It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
Exactly. It's about trusting ourselves even when we're unsure of the outcome.
And it's about recognizing that those fears are not the enemy. They're actually a sign that we're stretching ourselves, that we're growing.
And that growth is what ultimately leads to greater confidence.
So it's a process, not a destination.
Exactly. And Joanne's journey is a perfect example of that. She didn't start out as a confident, successful freelance writer. She developed those skills and that confidence over time through trial and error, through setbacks and triumphs.
It's a reminder that we all have that potential within us. We all have fears and doubts, but it's what we do with them that defines us.
Exactly. Do we let them hold us back, or do we use them as fuel to propel us forward?
And Joanne chose to use them as fuel, and look where it got her.
It's inspiring, right? Her story shows us that we can achieve amazing things even if it takes time, effort, and a few stumbles along the way.
And that's where those tools we talked about earlier come in, the self-compassion, the gratitude, the growth mindset, the resilience. They all help us navigate those stumbles and keep moving forward.
And let's not forget the importance of self-care throughout that journey.
Right? Joanne talks about healthy habits, sleep, exercise, doing things that bring you joy.
Those are not luxuries. They're essentials. They're the foundation for everything else.
It's like giving your inner superhero the resources they need to fight those self-doubt villains.
Exactly. And speaking of resources, let's not forget about our support system, those positive influences who uplift and motivate us.
Yeah, whether it's mentors offering guidance, friends lending an ear, or professionals helping us navigate specific challenges, having that strong support system is crucial.
Absolutely. We don't have to go it alone. There's strength and vulnerability in admitting when we need help and reaching out to those who care.
As we've been discussing Joanne's journey and all these powerful concepts, one thing that keeps coming up for me is this idea of a growth mindset.
It's such an important concept, right?
It is. But I'm curious, could you expand on that a little? What exactly is a growth mindset? And why is it so important in this context of building confidence and resilience?
Sure, a growth mindset is basically the belief that our abilities and intelligence are not fixed traits. Instead, they're something we can develop through effort learning and perseverance.
So it's the opposite of a fixed mindset, which assumes that we're born with a certain amount of talent, and that's it.
Exactly. With a growth mindset, you're constantly looking for opportunities to learn and grow, even if it means making mistakes along the way.
So it's about embracing challenges as opportunities for growth instead of seeing them as threats to your self-worth.
Precisely. And that shift in mindset can be incredibly empowering.
I can see that. Because if you believe that you can always learn and grow, then setbacks become less daunting.
They do. They become just another part of the learning process.
And that ties in beautifully with Joanne's story. She didn't start out as a confident, successful freelance writer. She developed those skills and that confidence over time.
Her story is a testament to the power of a growth mindset, and it's a reminder that we can all cultivate this mindset, embrace challenges as opportunities, and unlock our potential.
So how do we actually make that shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset? It can feel kind of daunting.
It can, but the good news is that it's a skill you can develop just like resilience. And one of the best ways to start is by changing how you view mistakes.
So instead of seeing them as failures,
You see them as valuable learning experiences.
I like that. So it's not about beating yourself up when you mess up. It's about asking yourself, okay, what did I learn here? How can I do better next time?
Exactly. Mistakes become stepping stones instead of roadblocks.
It's about giving yourself permission to be human.
Right. We're all going to make mistakes. It's what we do with them that matters.
And that brings to mind another strategy Joanne mentioned, seeking feedback.
Yes, feedback is essential for growth. It allows us to see things from a different perspective and identify areas where we can improve.
So it's about being open to hear.
It's not always easy, but it's so valuable because it helps us identify those blind spots that we might not be aware of on our own.
So it's like having extra pairs of eyes to help us see things more clearly.
Exactly. And it's especially important when we're trying new things or stepping outside of our comfort zones, because that's when we're most likely to make mistakes and need that guidance.
And those mistakes are actually a good thing in the context of a growth mindset because they're opportunities to learn and grow.
Exactly. The more we embrace those mistakes, the more we learn and the more we grow.
As we've been discussing this, I'm struck by the connection between a growth mindset and the resilience we talked about earlier. They seem so interconnected.
They are. A growth mindset is one of the key ingredients in building resilience. Because when you believe you can learn and grow from challenges, you're far more likely to bounce back from setbacks with even more determination.
It's like having an internal shock absorber to cushion the blow when things don't go your way.
I like that analogy. And that resilience is crucial for anyone on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment like the one Joanne describes.
Absolutely. The path to confidence is rarely a straight line. There will be challenges, setbacks, and moments of self-doubt.
But a growth mindset, combined with a healthy dose of resilience, is what allows us to navigate those bumps and emerge stronger on the other side.
It's about embracing the whole journey with all its twists and turns, knowing that each experience, whether positive or negative, offers a chance to learn and grow.
I love that. And as we wrap up this deep dive into confidence, I think it's important to remember that building confidence is an ongoing process. It's not a destination you arrive at. It's a journey you embark on, a commitment to continually learn, grow, and embrace your potential.
It's about showing up for yourself even when it's hard, and celebrating every step you take in the right direction, no matter how small.
And it's about remembering that you are capable of incredible things, even if you don't believe it yet.
So true. Well said. And on that note, I want to thank you, dear listener, for joining us on this deep dive into Confidence Unleashed. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and inspiration to embark on your own journey of self-empowerment.
Remember, you have everything you need within you to achieve your goals and live a fulfilling life.
So go out there and unleash your inner superhero. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
It can feel kind of overwhelming, right? Like changing your whole mindset. Where do you even begin?
Yeah, it's a big shift, but there are some concrete steps you can take. One of the most effective is changing how you view mistakes. Instead of seeing them as failures, reframe them as valuable learning experiences.
So like instead of getting all discouraged when you mess up, you kind of step back and say, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to do better next time?
Exactly.
Oh.
It takes the pressure off needing to be perfect, right? And you can embrace the process of learning knowing that setbacks are just part of it. Yeah, like giving yourself permission to be human. We're going to mess up. It's what we do with those mess ups that matters. And that kind of reminds me of something else Joanne mentioned, seeking feedback.
Oh, that's a crucial one. When you're open to feedback, you're essentially saying, help me learn and grow.
And that feedback can come from anyone, right? Mentors, colleagues, friends, even family.
Yeah. Anyone who can offer a fresh perspective. The key is to actively seek it out. Don't wait for it to come to you.
Especially when you're trying new things, right? Or
Yeah.
stepping outside your comfort zone.
Definitely. When we're in unfamiliar territory, it's natural to feel uncertain and make mistakes. Feedback can help you navigate those challenges and adjust your course.
Like having extra pairs of eyes to see those blind spots we all have.
Exactly. And you know what? As we're talking about this, I'm realizing how connected a growth mindset is to resilience.
Totally. They seem to go hand in hand.
They do. Because when you believe you can learn and grow from challenges, you're way more likely to bounce back from setbacks with even more determination, I'd say.
It's like having that inner strength to keep going, even when things get tough.
Exactly. And that resilience is essential for anyone on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment, like Joanne's.
Absolutely. The path to confidence isn't always smooth sailing. There are going to be bumps along the way.
But a growth mindset plus resilience, that's your secret weapon.
It's like having a map and a compass to guide you through those rough patches.
Yeah, you'll get there. Maybe not on the exact path you planned, but you'll get there.
And I think that's a really beautiful way to think about it. It's not just about reaching the destination, it's about embracing the whole journey.
The ups and downs, the twists and turns, they all make up the story.
So true. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive into confidence, what's the biggest takeaway for you?
That's a good question. I think for me, it's that confidence isn't about being perfect or fearless. It's about acknowledging our vulnerabilities, learning from our mistakes, and always striving to be better.
And that it's a journey, not a destination.
Yes, it's something we cultivate over time with effort and intention.
So well said. And on that note, I want to thank you, dear listener, for joining us on this deep dive into Confidence Unleashed. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and inspiration.
Remember, you have everything you need within you to achieve your goals.
And to live a fulfilling life. So go out there and unleash your inner superhero. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.